So they be calling you a radical, so everybody's been asking me, why don't you do your finance videos anymore? I'm like, what the fuck's the point? You know, I made lots of people fucking 100 times their money. Stood right here 2011 all over when silver was 49. Short it. Stock market's going under 10,000 in 2011. I'm like, fucking double down. Students of mine, there was a professor at Berkeley, used to play the students. A kid called me from Berkeley. He says, yeah, I really made my grandpa dump all his, you know, silver and gold and buy Tesla, like you said, buy Tesla. Well, how come you're not a multi-millionaire? I had 33,000 shares of Tesla in 2011. Do the math. You know, shorted silver. I turned 3,000 into 800,000 right here on YouTube. But something happened on the way to that fucking place. You know, I sit right here and did the great scam of the 401k, and I says, that doesn't mean don't go in the markets, that means goes in the markets. I've been pro market, you know I was until recently. I'm negative mark, so people have been calling me off the hook. Kevin, yeah, it's top. This is important. So Niners, 1981 again. The catch, he's dead. It's amazing to me how everybody's gonna hang on to their money to the bitter, brittle fucking end, while Fukushima's ravishing this planet. You know, I taught finance, I was on Wall Street, I was a derivative arb specialist. I mean, I make God some money, walk around with, you know, 40, 50 grand in my pocket. You know, but cancer took care of all that. I want people to know, and then I'll talk about the United States right now, the fairy tale bubbled up market, the 0% interest rate, Volcker died. We knew this was going to happen. Housing bubble, food bubble. I stood right here and says, well, short the salmon. Remember, I stood right here and says at Fukushima, short the salmon market, short the salmon market. Was I right? Let's see, bumblebee tuna is bankrupt, you know. Post Fukushima, you know, you're in denial. So they've spent $90 billion in the last 3 months. The Fed's buying stocks. Illegal. It's all illegal. QE 1, 2, 3, 4. The only lever they have is the interest rate. They freaking pulled all those arrows out long ago and ran Greenspan. So we inflated housing, created this incredible homeless nightmare. This was the #1 school business in the United States when I caught here, the water school business. They rank 512 now. 512, they only test 520. How do you go from first to last? How do you go from first to last? Is that even possible? Oh, they did it. I can tell you because I have access to the test scores. When I taught there, we were the #1 school business in the United States. They score last. Last, hear me, the 20-year dichotomy last. And the reason I'm saying that so loud, a bunch of these professors are walking by right here who need to be gelled. So when you inflate, use the interest rate like that, you inflate food, right? Oh, the CPI, PPI, you know, they changed the way they count CPI and PPI. So what they did, they took the package, they cut the package in half, then they cut it in half again. Go buy a bag of potato chips, it's got that much, left the price the same. That's 300% inflation over the last 20 years. It's unarguable. Housing. Well, you know what the median price of a house was? 87 when Ayn Rand Greenspan started this game, and then, you know, went in earnest. 9/11, always excuse to keep it low. So now they run out of arrows, so they're buying stocks. They're actually buying General Electric, which General Electric is on the verge of bankrupt. The most corrupt, remember what's his name? Who called out Bernie, which I was on Wall Street. We all knew Madoff was cheating. We all knew that there wasn't enough. I was a derivative arb guy. I mean, you can call the CBOE, call them. They'd say, Mr. Blanche, that's how many freaking, I hedged portfolios. There's only so many derivatives out there. He was lying because we knew. Oh, I'm hedging this stock. Well, I know there's only X amount of puts at that time. He'd have to buy them all, then some. He was lying the whole time. You know, but it was the club. It's the same club it is now. You know, they're all the same club. You know, I told you buy Apple, whatever. Well, everybody's telling you, get out, buy your silver, get out. You know, you compare and contrast inflation with everything, even with this bubbled up, this market's went crazy, huh? I mean, my God, 29,000, is it over? How long can they do smoke and mirrors? Your own, so think about that. You got a debt that is going to hit 24 trillion. It's so out of control, it's unbelievable. You know, you got car loans of 10 years, the smoking man's, you know, usury-based economy, supply chain oligarchy, you know, it's out of control. So why have I not been doing finance videos anymore? Something happened on the way to that place. Do not forget this, and I don't want people to forget. I'm anchored here. You know, I'd probably be teaching in Austria, or I wouldn't be living here, San Diego, because of the dichotomy here politically, the mega dairy guy trying to kill me while I'm full of critical condition. 2011, the fall, that big stock 4 though, I got a stomach ache. Thought I had food poisoning. When a doctor looks you right in the eyes and says you'll be dead within 2 months, next up you'll be dead within 2 months. I have a radical form of AML leukemia that is unsurvivable. It's OS de novo AML, acute, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's unsurvivable. I mean, the only reason I got into the bone marrow transplants is because Vincent Hans misdiagnosed, or I went from 170 to 130. I'm in the bone marrow transplant center with 43 other people. They all died. I'm the last one alive out of that group. And so I watched everybody die. I was going in and out of a coma in that place. I made deals. I decided to fight back. Fuck cancer and fuck the people who made. I mean, I really viciously fought back. You know, my doctor was an anti-nuker. Kimbo Peterson, Vincent Hand, anti-nukers who lost family members when they were young, you know, and they believed in me. I was too sick for a bone marrow transplant. I'm the only one besides Brian. Brian's had one now. 9 years later, I know that it's only a matter of tick-tock. It always comes back. I know that. You know, I made promises in the bone marrow transplant center to God, to myself. I promised, going out of a coma, that if my little granddaughter was so little then, she'd come in and hand me that rock. I still had, that's the one from Jade Cove, an activist gave me, found me on the wall when I was walking the trail. Here, Kevin Blanche, put that in your pocket. He says, I know your fight. My little granddaughter brought that in. He says, here, put that in your hand. That night I was going in and out of a coma. That was 8 years ago today. It's been a long, ugly, ugly fight. So I made deals with myself that I promised I would fight these monsters who gave me cancer and killed all these friends of mine. Become very close. And the friends of mine, Paul was in there with me. We grew up together, lifelong best friends. I mean, so close, he and I. He died, as you know. He used to comment on these videos. I'm going to Matt's funeral today. So many of these people, I made a deal with myself. I'll fight these fucking monsters every single day, every second day while I'm alive. You know, that's the deal. Just give me a second chance. I'm too young, I don't want to die. I want to fight for the college. I want to do this. And so I've done it every day, and I'll continue to do it every day because I'm not reneging on that deal. You know, so that's why I've been doing finance. But the Feds are buying stocks and they're annihilating us. Everything I've said has come to fruition. Remember, I did all this work. You know, do the math. My stock portfolio, it's out there. My stock portfolio, I did it the other day, would be worth almost 10 million. I remember going into Vince because I was uninsured, misdiagnosed, and I threw down my stock portfolio. Vincent, I'm not freaking poor. I have, you know, almost $1 million to start. And he said, I don't care, Kevin, you know, and he saved my life. Bone marrow biopsied me, forked it all over, went on Medicaid, got kicked off Medicaid after I forked over all that money. Bye, Mike Lee, pull yourself. I know that this fight, I know that it's just not, you know, you're come out and you're Tony Gwynn. That's what got him. I mean, he had the same thing as me, same time. It's a lot of people. So I'll do so. I've been getting, my phone's been off the hook. Well, you know what? It's fine. Get out. Time to short the market. I think it'll peak March 10th. You know, March 10th, 2020 is when I was at the derivative arbitrage on the Palm 3 comp spin. I was the derivative arb on the 3 comp spin. I found it before anybody. That was March 10th, you know, Fukushima, freaking March. That was March 10th, 2000. The 20-year fucking corruption fucking cycle gonna end. You know, when the Feds are buying stocks, all that is looting the future, give to my friends. The 401k fairy tales, a sham. What are they gonna do? Get your money out when you're 75 after you have cancer and you're dead? Longevity's headed this way. What good's it gonna do? You buy Viagra and diapers even if you do live, move to Mexico? They about had it with everybody. You need to keep the wall up, keep these baby boomers out. They'll ruin that place. That's where they're all headed, you know. So I'll do more. The Feds are buying stocks. You know, it's very sophisticated shorting these markets, and I'll talk about it more. You know, people will ask me to, and I always say, that's another part of the deal. I never said no. Anybody ask me, a lot of these videos, people ask me. A lot of the work, people ask me. You know, so my activism goes on. Stay tuned.